guys, now Juvia's Place has come out with a brand new eyeshadow palette. This palette is for the fall winter season. I don't think this is for the holiday season because I recently I saw like picture, like Juvia's Place has like teased like a picture which said that they are coming out with a palette specifically for the holiday season. I'm not sure if it's an eyeshadow palette or blush palette or a highlighter palette or like an entire face palette. I'm not sure, but that was specifically for the holiday season. So I think this is just for the fall season. So this is the SAHARAN II palette by Juvias. It just says Juvias here. So earlier this year they had come out with the SAHARAN I palette that was released for spring summer of this year, and personally I just did not like that palette all that very much. This is a smaller palette, which let me quickly show it to you. This is a smaller palette which has 9 shades, as you can see. The SAHARAN I palette has 12 shades, 12 eyeshadows, and they are smaller pans. So they are smaller pans, not as big as this. So out of the 12, I just didn't like kind of 4 shades there, and I don't know, personally the color selection also was not like a big hit. Personally for me, I just liked that beautiful gold shade in there and the reds, but still they weren't like very dark and like rich and beautiful for me. I don't know, personally I just didn't like the palette. The Magic palette, again, I'm just kind of on the fence about the Magic palette. Don't like it too very much. At the same time I don't hate it as well. Now I did like the Zulu palette. It was quite colorful and beautiful. So let's take a look at the SAHARAN II, guys. This is the packaging. This is the actual palette. It is the usual cardboard packaging, and then it doesn't have a mirror, and then you have this lady, and then there is this purple background with this gold and orange. I personally like purple and gold together, but I'm seriously seeing the potential in purple and orange. It's really beautiful, and then also pink too. So it's really beautiful. I just love the color combination, but you don't have a purple in here. That's unfortunate, you know, because you have the orange and gold. You do have like a gold in here, like this is actually a gold shade. It looks white, but and then you have the spicy orange shade and everything, but there is no purple. So I wish there was a purple in there. Now the box is exactly the same as the actual palette, and then it says SAHARAN II by Juvias, and at the back it says introducing the uber pigmented hot and spicy SAHARAN II eyeshadow palette. They say that the colors are inspired by the Moroccan spices and herbs and the rich patterns of the Moroccan people. And then this doesn't seem to have mineral oil, which the Magic palette had. The Zulu palette also had, I think. The SAHARAN I palette also had mineral oil, but one of the best palettes by Juvia's Place, which is the Masquerade palette, doesn't have mineral oil, and that still is fantastic, guys. But anyways, let's take a look at this product. And it also says at the back of the box that this is a cruelty-free product, then designed and formulated in USA, but it's manufactured in China. And then you get 32.4 grams. That's all put together. The net weight is 32.4 grams. So there are 9 shades. Now, as you can see, there are some like beautiful red shade and like a very beautiful reddish brown, and then orange shade, then this blue, and this kind of looks very pale, but this is a mint green on the skin, and this also looks white, but it's a gold. So there are some beautiful shades, but I also wanted to compare the shades with the very expensive Natasha Denona's holiday palettes. Do you see some similarity in here? Both palettes put together. There is also like a coral gold, and then you have like a matte red, and then you have like a reddish metallic shade. There's also like a very spicy red, and then there's an orange, and there's a blue as well. So I just wanted to do some swatch comparisons, maybe if you find shades. So there are like shades put together from both palettes here. Well, not exact dupes definitely, but they are you know, they look kind of similar. So I wanted to just show you guys shade comparisons. I saw this on Instagram, people doing comparison swatches, so I just wanted to show you guys as well here on YouTube. So let's get into the swatches. They're out of the 9 shades, the bottom 3 are mattes, just completely matte. They don't have any shimmer or any kind of micro pearls or anything, so they are completely matte. And the 6, first and the second row, are both completely matte, and all of them are actually foil shades. There are no satin shades here, thank God. I do not like Juvia's places satin shades. Personally, I don't like satin shades them itself unless it's like a very interesting color, like a dark color. In that case, I would use a satin shade as a crease color in the crease or a transition, but otherwise I just don't like them very much. They don't show up very well on my skin tone, so that's why I don't like it. So but anyways, let's swatch them from the top row. I'm holding the palette upside down. So this is the coral gold shade. I have to be honest, I'm growing a little tired of the coral gold, pinky gold shades from Juvia's. I see these shades, I've seen the shade in the past 3 palettes, I think. So I gotta be, I'm not lying. If I don't see this in the next palette, I wouldn't be upset. So yeah, and bronze as well. They do that, like they have a bronze everywhere in all of the palettes. It is kind of a versatile color, I do understand. But then, oh wait, I didn't tell you guys what it's called. The font, actually, it's not in a flattering font color because the background is like a bright yellow, and the font color, you know, the name, the shade name, the font color is in white. So it's a little hard to read. This is called Marrakesh, and then you have Aziza. Aziza is the white looking shade, but it is gold, and it just looks so beautiful on dark skin, guys. I think more than on lighter skin tone, this shade just pops beautifully on darker skin tone, even more, like it just pops. This is the shade I have here. Do you see like a golden shade here? That's the shade in the inner, it's not a crease, it's just above the crease. So in a transition area where I would actually apply a matte transition shade, but just in that connects to the inner corner. So I decided to just use this shade there. And then we have as always that bronze shade, but this kind of is a coppery bronze. So yeah, but still it is a bronze. So I don't know, I've seen bronze shades so many times in Juvia's Places palette. So yeah, again, so, and the bronze shade is called Hadia, and then we have the blue shade, it's called Berber. Now I like this blue shade. Juvia's always does a lot of blue shades, but this is different, definitely. It's more of like a sea blue, so I really like the shade. It definitely looks beautiful on dark skin. This is the shade I have here, just a little bit. Then we have this, it looks kind of cranberry, but actually it looks like a fuchsia cranberry kind of duochrome shade. It is a really beautiful shade. As you can see the peach tone to it, right? Peach and fuchsia tone as I move my arms. So yeah, and then this is a beautiful and that is Nomad, and this is tongue twister. The mint shade is a tongue twister. It's called Chef Shawin, and that is this beautiful mint shade. Do you see how it just looks stunning on dark skin? It's so beautiful, guys. And then the 3 matte shades. This is Fez. I think I remember reading that shade name somewhere. Maybe it's a repeat, I'm not sure, but it's a beautiful reddish brown color. And then we have like a cherry red, which is called Zora. It's a beautiful red. Do you see, it's not very muddy at all. It just looks like a true red even on my skin tone. It's a beautiful red, guys. And then you have Taza, just orange shade. As you can see, these three look so distinctly different, right? Now this is definitely darker even for my skin tone as a transition shade, but if you just apply it lightly and really blend it out, it just fades really beautifully into like a beautiful transition shade. So I use this actually as a transition shade, but you have to go in with a very light hand because it is a dark shade. But yeah, you need to just blend it a little bit for that faded effect. So yeah, the review on these shades are so easy to sum up because all of them perform fantastic, guys. With a primer, without a primer, they just perform beautifully. Now on the eyelids, just the 2/3 of the eyelids, I have this beautiful shade, which not just with a finger swatch, but also on the with a brush on the eyelids, it looks like it looks foiled, right? Definitely looks foiled, and it stays foiled, and the color you know, the pigmentation, the impact of the pigment stays true to what you see in the pan on the eyes as well. Now I did mix these two colors together in the, now as I said, in the transition I have the orange shade, and then in the outer corner and in the crease I have the red shade. So they all don't look like a reddish brown shade, at least to me in person they don't look that way. I can clearly tell the orange tones in the transition area, and the outer corner I can see the reddish, like that cherry red color. So I'm not unhappy about the fact that what? Okay, I wanted to say something and then I ended up saying something else. I'm happy that these shades just don't like muddy up together when you blend them, and they don't, all of them don't look like a brownish red color or a reddish brown color. They actually retain their distinct colors even when you mix them together. So I'm really happy about that. Happy about the mattes. The pigmentation is actually very intense. So if you're not very experienced not experienced with applying eye makeup, I would say go in with a very light hand. The shimmers I love, actually. I really love. I can make do without this coral gold and this bronze shade, but because they kind of appear in most of the palettes, wish they could have at least put a twist to it or done something different, or just replace these two colors with something else, something different. But they are beautiful colors. They perform well. It's not like they crumble on the eyelids when you use your brush. They actually go on with the eyeshadow brush beautifully. They stay there foiled, and I really like it. I have this mint shade in the inner crease. I think you can see it on this color. So right about that I have the gold. Then just below that I have the green, mint green, and on the eyelids I have this fuchsia, this beautiful fuchsia shade, and then cranberry fuchsia, whatever you want to call it. And then on the outside, in the outer 1/3 of my lid, I have the blue. So on to the swatches in comparison with the Natasha Denona one. Now with respect to the let's take a look at palette by palette. First is a Joya palette, where I think let's swatch this shade, which is a golden coral shade. This definitely looks more coral to me on my skin, not to me. On my skin, I think you can tell this looks more coral and this looks more gold. So the coral shade in the Joya palette looks more coral, and this looks more gold actually. So there is a distinct difference, but you know, if you're not very particular about that, about the fact that you want only this shade and not this shade, unless if you are that particular, then I think, yeah, this is a good alternative. This is also foiled, it applies well. So yeah, that is the difference between the coral gold, the Joya palette, which is called peach gold. Yeah, the peach gold from the Joya palette, and the gold the coral gold in the, what's it called, Saharan II palette. And then we have a bronze shade here, which is in the Joya palette as well, which is called Star Bronze, which I wanted to compare it with this bronze shade from the Saharan II palette. Let me quickly swatch that. There you go. Now, you know what? They are both very, very similar. The Star Bronze shade from the Joya palette and the bronze shade from this. This has, the one from the Joya palette has those reflective shimmers, which actually makes the eyeshadow more reflective on the eyes, if you ask me. This is a foil shade, no doubt, from the Saharan palette. That bronze shade is foiled, but this has that reflective glitter particles in it, the one from the Joya palette. So I feel that it's more reflective on the eyes. And this is kind of on the sheerer side, because I think the bronze shade, oh, it's just cream powder finish, you know, the new finish that Natasha Denona is introducing to the market. So it's a cream powder finish, but it needs a little bit of building up. So yeah. And then let's look at this blue shade, which is, oh wait, I'm moving on to the, maybe we should just swatch the dupes in this order rather than going from one, finishing Joya palette first and then Aeris palette next. That way it would be easier, right? So let's look at the blue shade from the Aeris palette. Now, even by seeing it in the naked eye, you can tell that this has silver shimmers in it. The blue color from the Aeris palette has silver shimmers, and this is just like an intense, like a sea blue. So this, I feel, is more like a sky blue, and definitely more on the silvery icy blue side, whereas this shade, the blue from the Saharan II palette, is a solid, like it's a darker blue. And personally, I like the darker blue on my skin tone than the silvery one. And then let's see if we can find something similar to this. I don't think we can in this palette, both palettes, both the Natasha Denona ones put together, because this is more of a cranberry shade and it is a duochrome, and there is just one shimmery red shade in the palette from Joya, and that is nowhere close to this, to be honest. It's just, I don't think we have a dupe for this color, guys. The cranberry peachy shade, we do not have a dupe for this in both the Natasha Denona palettes put together. And what else? I think we can find one for this. The red shade, matte red shade. This is a matte red shade from the Joya palette, and this is the matte red from, you know what, this is actually a fuchsia shade, and I think it is called fuchsia. Yeah, it is called fuchsia. The one from Natasha Denona palette is more pink. In person, you can actually tell the difference. This is more pink. The top is Natasha Denona one. The biggest swatch is the Saharan II palette. So Saharan II palette is definite, like a pinkish, there is a pink tone to it, but it's more red, and this one is fuchsia. But personally, I think if you diffuse it and blend it, they're kind of going to look kind of the same. So yeah. And then let's swatch this orange from the Aeris palette. This is the Aeris palette, by the way. Aeris palette, and yeah, they look, oh wait, this is more orange. The one in the Saharan palette, this is the one, is more orange. I think you can tell, right? This has more orange in it and this has more red in it. So there is a slight difference. So yeah, you guys, those are the comparison swatches. As you can see, there is some similarity. I would say this shade, the red shade, the bronze, and the peach gold are kind of on the similar side, but the others, I don't think so. There are some differences, but if these differences don't really matter a lot to you, I think, but if you don't want to spend a lot of money, definitely go with the Juvia's Place Saharan II palette, because there are some like really beautiful color selection, and they like perform beautifully. Now quality wise, I know this is a very expensive palette. This retails for $48 each, whereas this is like $23 with you know, shipping and everything, this guy. So quality wise, I have to say there is some ease in application when with respect to the Natasha Denona ones. You can actually tell the difference. You have to do a tiny bit of extra blending with these, but with this the blending is just extremely easy. There's an ease in application with the Natasha Denona ones, definitely. With respect to the mattes and also using the shimmers with the blending brush, they just blend easily. But at the same time, it's not like you have to put in extra effort with the Juvia's Place eyeshadows. These are really good, guys. The quality is fantastic. I'm not saying okay or mediocre or good. The quality is fantastic, very pigmented, and they do blend beautifully. So I highly recommend this palette, guys. So hope you guys found this comparison swatch useful. So finally, that's a final look. I love both the palettes, all three palettes, by the way. And yeah, hope you guys found this video useful. I think you can find the Juvia's Place palette only on Juvia's website. So I recommend you buy it from there, because there might be knockoffs or duplicate palettes. I'm not sure, but they might be, because they are so popular on social media, both Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. So yeah, I recommend you buy it on their website. And there is that 10% off coupon code floating around Instagram everywhere. Just so easy to find them. So just use a coupon code and you'd be able to get some discount off of the total price. So what else? I think that's it, you guys. Hope you guys found this video useful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked watching it, and please subscribe. Bye.